Hi, welcome to the Ram Mach Guitars Element Series giveaway premiere. I don't know what the hell to call this. Man, that light's bright. Hang on a second. There, that's better. Welcome to the giveaway and the premiere of the Element Series for our Mach guitars. All 4 guitars are done. We're going to go through picking winners. We're going to walk through each of the guitars one by one. There's a bunch of stuff to announce. I know how this works. If you want to go ahead and fast forward, find out if you won or not, and then make sure to come back because you don't want to miss out on some stuff. And the guitars are cool, man. They're really worth kind of sort of taking some time to get to know them. I think I'm pretty happy with how they turned out. So anyway, welcome to Casa Moto and welcome to Mach Guitars Elements Guitars giveaway. So before we begin, there's a few things I do want to say about the guitars to keep in mind. They're in not their final form. There's things I deliberately left sort of unfinished because I want to give whoever wins a little bit of a custom experience. So what I did was I did a very, very quick fret dressing, like not a very good one, just a very fast one. I did the intonation by ear, so just a very fast setup. A lot of the bodies haven't been polished or any of those other things because I figured it was better just to make the video, find out who wins, and then we get to customize stuff. We get to customize the wiring. These are all wired very basically. So it's just basically straight, 3-way pickup switch, tone, and volume. There's a bunch of stuff we can do depending on what it is that the winner wants. We can do coil taps and we can do all kinds of stuff. We can set it up, however it is that you want it set up. So just keep that in mind. Take these in the spirit of prototypes, which is what they basically are. This was a really fun experiment trying to see how far we can take these guitars, and I'm really, really proud of at least the attempt. We'll see if you guys think that the guitars live up to the expectations. But, they are prototypes. They are a little bit rough, but I think they're pretty cool. So anyway, let's stop talking about them. Let's just see them, right? So welcome to the Earth guitar. Yeah, that's actually a steel horn. Yes, that's a steel neck. We'll get to that in a second. There's a lot of stuff in making this guitar that, first off, let me just say I love this thing. It's absolutely fantastic. It turned out exactly what I wanted it to be, and it pretty much blows my mind. This is, again, the maple top. This is the Sapelli back. All right, look at that. It's pretty. And again, it's not even polished yet. This is the oak fretboard, which looks amazing. I mean, the oak back and rosewood. So basically, this guitar took me a long time to finish because I had to learn how to weld. I actually had to buy a welder, figure out how to do that whole thing. I'm amazed I kind of sort of pulled that off without killing myself. But the guitar itself is actually really, it's just a really, really great guitar. Everything about it is just super nice. So it's got the Bigsby, right? Tremolo. It's got the 2 pickups actually sound amazing. And again, there's been no real setup of this thing, and yet it's already playing and sounding extremely well. So this is basically a metallic horn. I said that I was going to do like an ergo horn, and unfortunately I couldn't get that to work in time. So I didn't want it to come out and be sort of not well done or executed, so I decided to kind of sort of put that off. But I think this actually turned out to be a pretty cool alternative. I'm really happy with that. I just think it's really, really trippy. And then last but not least, one of the things I'm really proud of is this headstock. I mean, check this out. It's basically steel. You can see the weld marks. And that's the thing about this guitar. I wanted this to be really rustic from the get-go, right? I wanted this to be a guitar that was earthy, was down to earth. I was even thinking about relicking it. But I said, nah, let it earn its licks, right? But it's really rough. There's a whole bunch of stuff that I kind of sort of deliberately left them in there. The neck feels really raw. The steel, you can see the weld joints. but I think that that fits it. I think that's exactly what this guitar needed to be. It's really, you would think this would be much heavier, but it's actually pretty light. It's not really all that neck heavy, it's a little bit. So the cool thing about this too is you can actually tilt and change the angle of the headstock. So you can tilt it back or you can tilt it forward. You just have to loosen this, pull it back, tighten it. And so you can pick whatever string angle it is that you want. Preview some ideas I have for the future. But all in all, it's such a wonderful, beautiful guitar. Say hi to the fire guitar. So say hi to the fire guitar. This turned out almost exactly as I envisioned it for the most part. You can see that color shifting paint that it has. I'm not sure if the camera is picking that up as well. But it goes from red to like a yellow, depending on the angle that you're viewing it at. It's really, really cool. It still needs a polish though. So this is the one with the camphor burl fretboard, which came out really nice. Torrefied maple, and this thing weighs about 5 pounds. I mean, if that, it's one of the lightest guitars I've ever held. Super, super comfy, super light. I'm really, really in love with this. You might notice that I ended up putting in a second pickup. And the reason for that was, the more I thought about it, I was going to offer people the option, whoever won, if they wanted me to put a neck pickup in here. And I thought, well, why not just put it in anyway? Who's going to say no to a neck pickup, right? And so I just went ahead and just put one in there, and I think they match really, really well. I think it's a really, really cool thing. I love this guitar. The action on it is already great. I imagine after I do a really good fret dressing on this and a really good setup, this thing is just going to play phenomenally well. So, yeah, welcome to the fire guitar, guys. Hope you guys like it. So say hello to what turned out to be the most the most difficult one out of all of them. This guitar gave me more problems than all of the other guitars combined. And really it's my fault because I made really poor wood choices. And this guitar it wanted to be what it wanted to be in spite of what I wanted. It's turned out, out of all the guitars, it's the one that turned out completely different than what I had envisioned. And yet I'm happy because it had a better idea of what it wanted to be than what I was trying to force it into being. So anyway, this is the ash top, the cedar back, more on that in a second, the torrefied maple, and the kind of sort of curly maple on the top, but not really by much. The headstock came out really, really nice. Really like this guitar. There's a lot of flaws with it though, and there's a lot of really great stuff about this one too. First off, I had no intentions of painting it these two colors. It decided for itself. And the way that happened was the cedar was a very poor choice for a backwood. It's too soft. It got all banged up. It already is actually here too. So at some point I realized that I wasn't going to be able to leave the wood raw, which was my intention. That I was going to have to kind of sort of put some type of coloring or sometimes a cover up and fill up all those dents, right? And so I decided I was going to try to make a color that was close to the cedar, right? So I decided I'll do a little bit of ochre, which is like a brown, and then I'll add a little bit of white to that. And it will kind of sort of give me a very light sort of beige brown. And it didn't. It actually turned into a hot pink, which I couldn't really understand. But I know my color wheel. And so I decided, you know what, I'll add some blue, because if you add blue to the red tinge, that should make it, again, a warmer brown. And it didn't. It ended up in this really beautiful pastel pink color. It's really pretty. And so I'm like, all right, I guess you want to be pink. I guess we'll go with pink. And that meant that I kind of sort of had to figure out a color for the top. And, you know, these two kind of sort of fit together. And it's turned out to be actually a combination that I really like. I make so many dark guitars. I make so many, you know, so many guitars are like, how would you say it? They're dark, they're heavy, they're you know, wood grain and all that other stuff. It's really nice to do something like this. It's really nice to kind of sort of have something that's very light and airy. And I really do think that this guitar had a better idea of what it wanted to be than I could ever have had wanted. Now, it's got a lot of problems because there was a lot of things that I wanted out of this guitar, and there's a lot of things that I wasn't ready for. This is the first hollow body I've ever built. This thing weighs nothing. Like, this is even lighter than the Fire guitar. This is absolutely, I mean, it's practically non-existent. But it works really, really well. The problem with this cedar is that it bends. It's already bending the back, which I've never seen happen. I'm not sure what that means about the longevity of this thing. I don't know. Maybe some of you can chime in on the comments, but that kind of sort of has me a little bit worried. And another thing I did was I cracked the fretboard. So I was gluing in the fretboard, and as usual, I tightened the clamps way too tight. I don't know why I have this compulsion to tighten things to that point, but I do. I remember when I used to, when I lived in New York, this is actually a true story, it's a little bit of an aside, but when I lived in New York, my aunt used to come over, and I used to tighten the mocha pot so hard that that poor lady would have to go out into the streets of New York to see if she could find somebody who could unscrew the mocha so she can actually make herself a coffee in the morning. I don't know what it is. It's a compulsion. I have to sort of tighten things as tight as they'll go. Anyway, all that aside, I ended up cracking the fretboard right along here, all the way to the 12th fret. This entire thing cracked. The problem with that is that it's already glued to the top. It's already glued into the guitar. So getting that to fill or to squeeze back together wasn't a possibility. I ended up fixing it. It's, you know, it's still visible, but it's actually, I think it's pretty damn good, but you can still see it. And then all these frets came out. So all these frets had to be redone and reset. And they haven't sat as well as the other ones have. So, you know, at this point, we're not really building anymore. We're just doing repairs, right? So basically, that's what happened with this one. It's and yet, despite all that, I think it's my favorite. I don't know if it's going to last very long, but I love it. Last but not least, the Leviathan, the water guitar. This is, by a long shot, the sexiest thing I have ever built in my life. This thing is just gorgeous. It's almost exactly what I wanted it to be. Actually, it pretty much is. It's actually exceeded my expectations, to be honest with you. The wood grain on this through the blue is just absolutely stunning. It's not even polished yet, and it's already looking amazing. The neck is great. It's a little bit, I would probably, you know, I'll leave it up to the person who chooses it if they win it, if that's what they choose, but the neck feels really, really good. It's a little bit wide for a baritone. It can be narrowed a little bit, but I think I'm glad that I made it a little bit wider. It's about 43.5, almost 44 millimeters, which I think works, especially if you want to put thicker strings on this over time. I can tune this down very comfortably down to a G, but right now it's sitting in sort of just a B tuning. But you can go a bit lower. And if you put thicker strings in here, I think these are 48s to 10s. If you put like 13s to, 56, or hell, even up to like a 58, you can probably get this thing down very comfortably as low as you want it to go. So let me explain something about why it is that I chose to do the pickups this way. There used to be this really cool guy named The Bun who played a lot of baritone guitars back in the day. I don't know what happened to his channel. I should look it up real quick. But his name was The Bun. He was an amazing player, and he basically played a lot with low strung, baritone type guitars. And watching his channel, I learned a fair bit about what people who play baritone are sort of looking for. And one of the things I noticed was that whenever I pick up a baritone that's got humbuckers in it, then you spend up a lot of time trying to remove the mud that's in the signal, right? Because a humbucker is going to be warmer by nature. And then you put that on a guitar and it sounds great because it warms up what can be a very annoying instrument. Guitar has very high frequencies that can get pretty piercing. But not so with a baritone guitar. What you're really adding with a humbucker is just mud. And so I thought about it, and I kept seeing that everybody who played low-strung or low-tuned guitars were running it through some type of EQ to boost the mids, to cut the lows. Kind of sort of defeats the purpose, right, of getting a low-strung guitar. And so I thought, wouldn't it be a good idea to have a single coil spaced humbucker for the noise canceling, but single coil, and then keep them both sort of closer to the bridge, which would give them a much clearer sound. And that's exactly what this has done. It's if you check this out, that's the neck, and that's the bridge. So what ends up happening is that you're actually cutting through the mix without getting all that mud. And I think that that's actually a cooler way of going with it. And I was hoping that it would work, and it really, really did. So this, I'm pretty sure whoever wins is probably going to wind up, one of the people are going to wind up picking this one. I'm really sad to see it go. I don't think I'll ever find a piece of wood exactly like this again. It's gorgeous. It's beautiful. It's sexy. It's just sexy. Is the only word that keeps coming to mind. I haven't really done a really great setup yet, and yet the action is already fantastic. It can only get better from here. I wanted to talk a little bit about the building process, because each of these guitars really presented a challenge. And one of the challenges I put to myself was to try not to buy any more hardware anymore. I mean, I ended up having to. I had to buy all the tuners, and I did have to buy the tremolo from Hipshot for the headless guitar. So there was some purchases that had to be made. But I was trying not to, spend that much more and use a lot of the stuff that I already had on hand. So the pickups I already had on hand. There were things like, for example, the Bigsby and this bridge here. I don't know if you can see that. As you can see, that bridge is inset. And the reason for that is I love a guitar where it's like I'm a Strat guy, right? I like my strings to be low to the body. I don't like it when you have the neck at too high an angle and this is coming up too high. I find that it doesn't feel right to me as a Strat player. So what I did with a lot of these guitars, I did it in the water guitar as well, is I sank the bridges, because those were the bridges I already had on hand. And every guitar presented challenges along that way, whether it was the metalworking or the welding or trying to make the parts that I already had exist within the framework of what I was trying to do. Ended up to be something I will never, ever do again, because I gave myself so many headaches doing that. I'm proud that it worked out. I'm proud that I pulled it off. But it sure as hell is a good way to torture yourself. If you're really masochistic, go for it and see how that turns out. So that's the first thing I wanted to talk about. The second thing I wanted to point out is you can exchange almost every part of this guitars. So for example, you can add a steel horn like this one to the water guitar baritone. You can put the steel neck on the hollow body if that's what you wanted to do. You can do this exact same guitar, but instead of the steel neck, you can go ahead and just put basically the wood one or an analog one. In other words, all the different types of bodies, all the different variations that you see, all of them can be combined in whichever way you want to combine them. And I think that that makes for like this infinite variety of guitars that you can make, from pickups to electronics to how the whole thing kind of sort of feels and lays out. You can do 22 frets, you can do the 24 fret, you can do the baritone. You can probably do the baritone headless with a steel horn if that's what you want to do. It's one of the things that I wanted to explore with this kind of sort of thing, and I think it really, really works out. So anyway, what I wanted to say is if you joined, if you were a part of this, whether you submitted music or whether you didn't, and you want one of these guitars, you're automatically going to get a hell of a break. If your name is on the list of people who signed up for this, reach out. We can build a custom guitar for you, and it will, I promise you, it'll be at a price that I think you'll be quite happy with. All right, so we come to the part that we've all been waiting for, and I had to write this stuff down. Look, first off, you guys are freaking amazing. The messages I got from you guys, the amount of people that participated exceeded my expectations. And some of the messages you guys sent really kind of sort of really kept me going when I thought that I had bitten off more than I can chew and was getting really frustrated. I really appreciate some of the stuff you guys wrote, and I hope we stay in touch. And I hope you guys, you know, stick around because there's more stuff like this coming up, hopefully. So anyway, to those of you who submitted, they were just such cool stuff. I'm having a really hard time here. So Andrew Garistanos, Mischief of the Mind. I love that. The Into the Flames by the Stonecutters, amazing. Lap Harp Funk, Jeremy Baker, insanely good. Dakota Ryan, The Devil on the Right. Damn, that was a good song. That's good. I mean, there was just so many cool things. Santiago Ortiz, Retribution. I really love that. There was just so much cool stuff that was submitted. Even if I didn't mention your name, Nathan Farlow, how you doing, man? I really enjoyed your video, and thanks for submitting that. It was really, really cool of you. I mean, I could just go to the list of all you guys, and I had to try to find a way to break the tie here because it was all like, really, I'm not kidding. It was all so good. There was so much good stuff. And you guys didn't let me down either. It wasn't like I had a bunch of shredders showing off on guitar. It was everyone submitted music. Everyone submitted stuff with a vibe. Everyone submitted stuff that made me feel something. And for that, I am eternally grateful. I really, really am. But the only way to break the tie was to kind of sort of go back to what this whole thing was about. And it was picking one of the elements or each of the elements and then writing something for that particular element. And there's one person who really did that. You could tell he wrote the song with that guitar in mind. And this hurts because I know what guitar he's going to choose because it's in the damn title. Yeah, anyway, Tyler Moberly, Leviathan. You win the first draw. What can I tell you, man? It's really, really cool. I hope you let me use that music when I do the build video. You'll be receiving an email from me. Those of you who win will be receiving an email from me, and we'll proceed and move forward that way. But yeah, so congratulations to Tyler. Looking forward to working with you, man. Looking forward to kind of sort of, you know, tuning this guitar up. I know you're going to pick up the water guitar. I mean, that's what you submitted for, so I'm sure I'm going to kiss that sexy beast goodbye. But I'm really looking forward to setting it up real well with you, going over the details, deciding how we want to do the electronics of it. So look for that email. It'll be coming your way. All right, but don't run away because there's still a second chance and there's a second winner. This has the people who submitted music. This has people who doesn't. I basically just cut up all the little names into tiny little pieces of paper. I should probably grab my glasses because I know I'm not going to be able to read this. But why not humiliate myself as I usually do? So I'm just going to go in here and I'm going to pick out a random sort of thing. Just, let's see. All right. So we got our winner. Michael Parsons. Michael Parsons. Looks like you won, brother. Again, I'll be reaching out and sending out an email. Looking forward to working with you as well, seeing how you guys want to set this stuff up. If you didn't win this time, I know that kind of sort of sucks, and I wish I could give a guitar to everybody. I really do wish I could. Unfortunately, that's not the case, right? But here's what I can tell you. If you joined this entire thing, if you've been a part of this, and you want one of these guitars or you want me to make you one, just reach out. We can work out something extremely fair if you're on the list of people who joined. And again, thanks to everybody for all the emails and stuff. Yeah, anyway, congratulations to the winners. Talk to you guys soon. So one of the things I also wanted to talk to you guys about is maybe doing something like this again. There's another guitar that I made, which you can see, I'll link to it down below. I did it for the Great Guitar Build-Off. And I've been wanting to redo that guitar in a better way. And I started to think about it, and there's kind of sort of three different variations that I can think of. And so I'm thinking maybe we ought to do this again. Not next year, not anytime soon, but maybe so. And then last but not least, I also want to talk about the acoustics. There's so many of you who submitted acoustic music. And as you guys know, I've started to kind of sort of work on acoustics. And in the future, I might do a giveaway. We might do something along these lines where we do it just for acoustics, and we do something like that. I think that would be actually really cool. That's going to be a little while, though. That's going to be a while for me to get to that point. For now, what I need is a rest, and what I need is to edit this video and to put it out there and to close out 2025, which was a year of nothing but labor, absolute labor. But this really was a labor of love, and I hope you guys have enjoyed. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. Keep an eye open. There's going to be build videos that I'll be putting together. One thing that this entire endeavor kind of sort of taught me are the limitations that I have and the limitations of my workspace, of my tools. And I knew that was going to be the case. I knew I was going to put everything, I was going to be pushing everything to its limit and seeing what happens. And when you add the welding that I don't know how to do, and the UV light curing, which I've never done before, and all this other stuff that I've attempted that, and just doing 4 guitars at a time, it's not, if they were all exactly the same, it might be a little bit easier, but these all demanded different parts of my brain. And I really learned a lot about my shortcomings, and I learned a lot about what I need to do in my shop, and I do need to make an investment on taking things to the next level if I want results that I'm going to be happier with. I'll never be happy because I'm a miserable son of a bitch, but something that I can find acceptable and not kind of sort of curse myself out for. So look to the new year to see that we're going to be doing a lot of investments in the shop. There's going to be a lot of new ideas. I'm going to put these guitars away for a while, these Element guitars. I'm going to put this away for a while, and I'm going to work on some other models that I've had in mind and kind of sort of do a bit of a refresh. But like I said, if any one of you want me to make you one of these, or if you're interested in one of the guitars that are left over when they choose, let me know. We'll work something out really, really cool for you guys. And I guess that's about it, I hope you guys had a very, very wonderful holiday. I hope you guys have an amazing new year. I hope the next year is going to take us somewhere really, really good. I've got good vibes about it, so let's hope it's a good one. Anyway, thanks for joining. I hope you guys had fun. I hope you guys love the guitars. Leave a comment down below to tell me what you think of them, which one's your favorite, what would you have done different. Yeah, and I'll see you guys around. Peace out.